Welcome to the Rabbit Hole Fantasy Football Podcast. Thoughts, analysis, and information to help you succeed in your fantasy football leagues. I am your host, Chad Lyon, and joining me is Tyler Bevel.
Hey!
And our producer, Mitchell Bird.
Hello!
This is our Week 10 reaction. And how is Tyler?
I'm a little disappointed in this last weekend of fantasy football.
Why?
Yeah, just garbage.
There's some real this week.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's still, Sunday watching football is still a good day, but
I feel like this could be quicker than the average reaction show, but we'll see. Yeah, there's some here that's
should
just
get a
moving on.
Gallon garbage bag and scoop it all into it.
Well, before we do that, let's do a top 3 list.
Oh, this is good. Yeah,
I owe you this one.
All right.
Tyler, you ready?
Yeah.
Give me your top 3 Steelers.
Oh, this is easy, and I'm not there. There's a ton of great Steelers, but I'm going with the ones that I watched, that I seen. It's in this order. It's Jerome Bettis, Hines Ward, Troy Polamalu. Those are my 3 favorite Steelers.
Right on. That's I have a feeling there might be some similar things going on here.
The bus is the best.
Of us, but yeah.
You'll never talk me down from Jerome Bettis being my favorite Steeler ever. Loved
awesome.
it. Loved every minute of it. Hines Ward, the only offensive wide receiver. Although I was going to say the only offensive wide receiver that made defensive people fear him, but George Pickens might be carrying the torch in Pittsburgh a little bit. And then the flying Hawaiian, just loved watching him.
Yeah, right on. How about you there, Bird Person?
Well, I like Tyler's list a lot.
Yeah.
So much so.
I'm going to reverse the order, though.
Fair enough.
Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward, Jerome Bettis.
Fair enough.
All right. Right on. I always loved the, every time Hines Ward would get a first down, he'd do this little shoulder shimmy and then a smile.
Yeah.
I was always smiling, running back to the huddle.
My favorite thing about Hines Ward is when he would get hit, sometimes he took his lickings too. He'd pop up with that smile and look at you with the face.
Yeah, and I think that would
demoralize
just piss defenders
you
off.
I
just railed this dude. He's smiling in my face.
Unfortunately, there's a huge Hines Ward moment that sticks out for me, and I'm sorry, Chad.
Uh-oh.
They went. Philadelphia I can't remember where they were at, but I know Philadelphia was undefeated. They had just beaten the undefeated Patriots the week before. And Philly came in here like McNabb and T.O. And Hines Ward caught 2 touchdown passes that game. And both times he put the ball down and did the eagle with that big smile on his face. Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens were fighting on the sideline.
Oh, was that the fight?
That was that game, yeah.
Yeah, that was no good.
Savage.
You hate seeing that. At least I did anyway.
Yeah. I didn't like seeing that because I always root for the Eagles. Obviously, I wanted the Steelers to beat them, but that image of Hines Ward doing the Eagle,
yeah.
Who do you got, Chad?
I remember T.O. doing it when he was in Dallas.
Yeah.
He would do that and then do the Eagles thing.
Star.
It was terrible. Oh, man. I got Troy Polamalu, Jerome Bettis, and Cordell Stewart.
Ooh, I like the Cordell Stewart.
Flash.
Thing was, I was 12-ish when he started. He was 97 or so, right?
95. That's a 95, 96.
Yeah, but he got his first start in 97, I think.
Yeah, he was Slash for the first 2 years. His rookie year, he was Slash.
So I seeing him run around like that, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks do this? It's crazy.
Cordell Stewart would be so much more. He would be
way more appreciated today.
he was just a little bit too far out of his time.
Yeah. I do have an honorable mention if I can toss one.
Yeah.
Is Willie Parker.
Fast Willie Parker.
I love Fast Willie.
Longest run in Super Bowl history, baby.
Right?
Yep, sure is. Do you have any honorable mentions or anything you want to toss in before we get going? We'll
get past it because I could throw out 100 honorable mentions.
That's true.
Fair enough. All right, let's go ahead and get into these games. We'll start with Germany. The Giants 17, the Panthers 20. Yuck. Carolina gets a dub in Germany. Bryce Young didn't do a whole lot, but he did enough, and Daniel Jones is awful.
Yeah.
So
real bad.
Yeah.
To the point that Bryce Young put up a better stat line than Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Fantasy points, 9, I think. But
yeah, you're not. Neither of these guys are fantasy, but Daniel Jones is just, he's garbage.
Yeah, not good. Chuba signs a new contract. And then he plays like he signed a new contract.
Yeah.
32 total touches, 28 on the ground, 4 in the air.
Kid played like he's hungry for a contract.
Yeah, no kidding. 169 total yards, 5.5 yards per carry, 24 PPR points. Is there even a concern level at all when Brooks does get on the field?
Chuba's playing so good. Why take him off the field to put Brooks on there?
I don't know. I don't know what the point would be.
Yeah.
Last week, I called Chuba a buy in Dynasty due to the fact he could end up elsewhere and be the lead back while Brooks takes over for Carolina. Forget that.
Yeah.
I think Nick was on that one. I was just kind of making a case where the way that I build, like I'd be looking at this end of year.
No, that made sense.
And if I was a team that was one good off season away from contending, Chuba would be a buy for me. Like say he ended up with the Cowboys or something, and like forget that.
They're on the downhill.
Got a 4-year contract.
Yeah.
So he's going to be around in Carolina for a while. So again, forget that idea. But
good for Chuba. You know what I mean? Like that they paid it. You know,
pay
it forward.
Are they? I don't know.
This team is closer than we think.
Why so?
Got Xavier Legette. I think Jalen Coker, for the little bit that we've seen him, looks decent.
Doesn't look too bad.
No.
Jatavian Sanders.
They need a quarterback. Jatavian Sanders looks good. Yeah. This offensive line is decent. Chuba's averaging over 5 yards a carry behind him. Yeah. I mean, it's literally, if you put a good quarterback in this team, and like, I get it, but don't give me the Andy Dalton thing either. Right. Like, it's not, right. It was better than Bryce Young, made it look better, but you know, it's got to be better than that too. Andy Dalton at this point in his career is a backup.
Derek Carr.
No.
No. He's just Andy Dalton.
Right. Like Andy Dalton is Derek Carr's future. Like
this is where Aaron Rodgers will finish his career.
No.
So what do you suggest? Like, is this a team that needs to hit free agency for a quarterback?
Yeah.
Like hope that someone's there?
No, I would,
because I don't feel like the jury's still out on the rookie class. I guess that's not fair. But like, I don't know. Are they better off going after a vet or drafting like a Shedeur Sanders?
Depends. Like, it depends on who is shaked out. I can't think of vets that would be available like next year off the top of my head either. Maybe they are closer than I'm. Like maybe Russell Wilson, depending on how that shaked out with the Steelers.
Justin Fields,
maybe.
I still don't. Is Carolina taking a page out of the Detroit book with this?
I mean, here I'll throw one at you right now. I'm sorry to interrupt you. If the Browns continue the Deshaun Watson episode, and Jameis Winston is available.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Deshaun Watson.
Do you, I mean, something like that? Like, at least he's a competent passer in this league.
Yeah. They're a receiver away still, too.
Yeah. I would agree with that. But they can find that in the draft.
Yeah, probably.
Quarterback's a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm sorry.
We'll see. Is Carolina taking a page out of the Detroit Lions book with this whole Hubbard and Brooks thing?
If they are, they're putting the cart ahead of the horse.
Yeah. See, I just don't like this. I don't understand why are you paying a running back? Like I just don't understand it.
And Detroit
you have so many other things you need to take care of, and
Detroit also had a quarterback before they did that. And I know Goff is coming off a 5 interception game, but Goff's been pretty good throughout his whole career. He's been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So if they are taking a page out of Detroit's book, which is copycat league, I think the cart is getting ahead of the horse.
Okay. You didn't get a whole lot out of Legette. You didn't get much out of Sanders. It's
3 for 40. Sanders had the touchdown, 2 for 8 and a touchdown. So
at the end of the day, Hubbard's my interest.
But I mean, you're talking about a quarterback and Bryce Young who threw for 126 yards. There's just not a lot of love to go around.
I like both of those guys going forward. Dynasty.
Yeah.
But redraft, give me Hubbard, fade the rest.
Yep.
Like I'm just time to start tightening up on things, right? Yeah. We're getting to, nearing the playoffs and all that. For the Giants, Tyrone Tracy's great start, 16 PPR points. The long touchdown run, that was a thing of beauty.
Costly fumble, but other than that.
Yes. RB2 for the rest of season or high end flex?
I'll give him RB2.
I like high end flex, but won't be surprised if I come back in 2 weeks with a different.
Like we had talked too about this before we started the show. I can't remember if you or Mitchell brought it up, but I mean, like the NFC schedules too.
Yes.
So I mean, I like him as an RB2 for the rest of the year.
Okay, I'm a little more standoffish. I think it's just the team as a whole. I worry a little bit. But again, I won't be surprised if in a couple weeks I'm like, hey, remember when I said high end flex? I think it's RB2.
Yeah.
All right. We thought Wandale could bounce back the flex numbers, and he did with 10 PPR points. You'll take that?
Yep.
In a redraft, would you sell Neighbors to a hopeful manager?
Yeah.
Last 4 weeks, 8, 14, 14, and 11 PPR points.
Yep.
Jones he makes things tough for pass catchers. In New
it's the same thing as the other side of the ball. It's just he's not enough to go.
Yep. It is nice, though, for Dynasty to see Theo Johnson doing some more work. Not much for, redraft, but he's involved. Yeah. So, and as far as Dynasty goes, I'm thrilled to see that, and I'm still very interested.
Yep.
You got anything else for this one?
If you are a Tyrone Tracy owner, I'd try to find a way to get Devin Singletary. Just because Devin Singletary is still playing really well, even in a complementary role between Tyrone Tracy, he's averaging like 4.7 yards per carry. So if Tyrone Tracy would go down, I would think you'd be comfortable with Singletary behind him.
Playoffs are over the horizon here. Sure up your backfield.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. All right, let's move on to the 1:00 games, and we will start with the Patriots 19 and the Bears 3.
What a terrible game.
I can't do this Bears thing anymore, man. Not one player, whether it be quarterback, running back, receiver, or tight end, scored more than 9 points. Caleb ended with 5. I'm still in on Caleb as far as Dynasty goes.
Sure.
Outside of DeAndre Swift, I have zero interest in redraft. And even then, it's mild interest as far as DeAndre Swift goes.
Yeah.
Nick said to sell him high. I hope you did. This thing isn't working, man. Chicago needs a revamped O-line. They're beat up, and even their starters aren't good as it is. And now it's a bunch of just second and third stringers. Revamp the O-line and come back with a new coaching staff, please. They're gonna waste this kid. Right? Do you agree with all that? Do you have anything to?
No, yeah. That's pretty.
Because otherwise, we're moving on to the Patriots here.
I just don't think there's a lot to talk about. I think we can do that too, but I agree with what you're saying.
Okay. Loving what I'm seeing from Drake May in the stat line, dynasty sense.
Yeah, but the stat line is not great, but Bears defense.
Yeah.
And the kid hung right in there and played good.
Bears D, I think, is slightly banged up, but still. If the Patriots do their due diligence over the next couple of off seasons, I think Drake May is going to be a great NFL quarterback.
Yeah,
I really do. And let me go back. I feel the same way about Caleb, but I don't know, man. Like I just looks really.
I'll be
bad.
honest with you. At this point, Caleb Williams has looked like, and I'm not saying it's all his fault. He's looked like the third best quarterback in this draft.
Kind of has.
It's been Jaden Daniels. I think Drake May's looked better than him.
What about Bo Nix?
It's the fourth best. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Actually, I would say Jaden Daniels, then Bo Nix, then Drake May, then Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Didn't expect we'd be saying that at all.
No, I thought Bo Nix was going to be the one that really had to struggle through it this year.
Yeah, I hate seeing this with Caleb, man. I really do. I hate seeing this. I hope you sold Ramondre. Without a touchdown, you can rely on single-digit fantasy points for the vast majority of his rest of season outlook. Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Stevenson has 4 games without a touchdown. In those games, he has scored 8 or fewer PPR points. He has had 5 games where he has scored at least 1 touchdown. In those 5, he has scored between 16 and 22 PPR points. It's the epitome of a touchdown-dependent RB2.
Yeah.
The Bears are 21st against the running back position. Ramondre gave you no touchdowns and got you 8 PPR points.
The only person that I really like on this team in the future going forward is Demario Douglas.
Yeah, I actually don't have any interest as far as redraft goes rest of season. Same with you?
I want Demario Douglas on my bench in a redraft. That's what I was saying.
Okay. I thought you were talking...
Like this game, they had control of it the whole time. They weren't passing a lot. In games where they have to pass more, I think Demario Douglas is going to be able to put up some solid flex numbers.
Again, defense.
I don't like the tight end. Bears. Yeah, I don't like the tight end thing. Like Hunter Henry got 1 catch this week. Austin Hooper had 3 for 64. It's like I'm off the Hunter Henry thing completely. The only person that I have interest in on this team is Demario Douglas.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay. Yeah, not a single Patriots pass catcher scored over 9 PPR points.
No.
Yeah, and no interest in Hunter Henry, right? Zero interest
None.
at all. Okay.
1 catch for 14 yards. Meanwhile, Austin
I
Hooper
thought
has
this was
3
going to
for
be a
64.
thing.
It's like, what's going on?
So it's not a thing?
No,
it is a thing? It's not? What is it?
We're over it.
All right. Do you have anything else for that game? This
That's
is
it.
one of the ones where it's like, there's a couple more of these, unfortunately, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the 49ers 23, the Buccaneers 20.
I tell you what, that freaking kicker better get his crap together. Deebo Samuel.
Brock Purdy looked great. CMC returns, and Debo is out here bullying long snappers in a win.
Yeah.
Quick thoughts on that, Ty?
Yeah. I don't know. That was crazy. I don't really remember ever seeing anything like that. Like, I was laughing. It's not.
He told Jake Moody to lock in, and the long snapper's like, don't you.
Yeah, just keep walking.
Right by the throat,
Yeah.
dude. Oh, man. That was funny. Debo, 12 PPR points on 6 targets. Pearsall matched
grab
Debo.
him by the throat. He needs to pick it up.
Yeah, right? Pearsall matched Debo with 6 targets, got in the end zone. 17 PPR points.
Yeah, but
Jawan Jennings, 11 targets, 16 PPR points. Debo, Pearsall, Jennings, rank them rest of season.
Oh, that's tough.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
I'll go Debo, Jennings, Pearsall.
Yeah.
I have to right now. I don't want to get too crazy yet. I have to do that today.
Yeah. Man. No, I'm doing it. I'm going Jawan Jennings, Deebo Samuel, Ricky Pearsall.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, you can't really argue with it. He doubled the targets. Just about, 6 for Debo, 6 for Pearsall, 11 for Jennings. George Kittle. Dude just stays consistent. Only 4 targets, but you turn them into 3 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown, 14 PPR points.
Made the most out of them.
Yeah. Kittle only has 1 week thus far with less than 14 PPR points.
Good for Kittle.
This is his best fantasy season,
It is.
right?
It's definitely his most consistent. Fantasy
That's
season.
the best way to put it. 19 total touches for CMC in his debut. 13 carries for 39 yards, but 6 catches for 68.
Yeah, it looked a little rusty, right? But the catches looked good. But the groundwork, where they have 3.0 average.
Yeah.
It's, he'll get it. I wouldn't worry about that at all, though.
No. 15 PPR points, you will take that in your return.
And it's going to get better than that most weeks.
Yeah. If you either bought low on him or weathered the storm and waited this thing out,
Hooray!
yeah, good on you. He is a top 5 running back rest of season.
Oh, easily.
Easily. Baker Mayfield.
The guy.
Dude, he hangs right in there, doesn't he?
I'm terrible anymore. Not to get off of fantasy, but man, I sit down and watch these games, and whoever Baker's playing, it doesn't matter unless it's a Steelers. I'm like, come on, Baker, you can do it. You're rooting for this guy so bad.
For me this year, it's been Baker and Bo Nix.
Man, it's such a struggle for the guy.
I know. That play with Bosa, though.
He's like holding him up.
Yeah, it was awesome. He didn't really do anything in the fantasy department.
Now these are like Bryce Young numbers, but the guy is playing with. It's a different thing.
Yep, 9 fantasy points. Only his second game on the season with less than 19 fantasy points in 5-point per passing touchdown leagues.
I will say this. Not many quarterbacks in the league would go into that situation as depleted as the Bucs were and put up the fight that Baker Mayfield did.
He's putting that team on his shoulders, man.
Oh, Baker. I don't even think Baker understands what give up means. I literally don't think he does. He just goes, and he walked in that game he looked just like he did today. He's like, I'm feeling dangerous.
Yeah, right.
It's like, well, you don't have any wide receivers. How dangerous can you be? But good on you.
He's got a much needed bye coming up here this week. Looks like Evans should return very soon. After the bye, Tampa's schedule is the Giants, the Panthers, the Raiders. Playoffs, Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers.
Send it.
Keep the faith in Baker.
Oh, absolutely,
way, baby.
You got one game in there that's maybe like little
Chargers.
Yeah. Yep. Rest of them, Baker should be fine with Mike Evans healthy.
Go by the Buccaneers. Rashad White. 10 carries, 31 yards, 6 catches, 39 yards, and a touchdown, 18 PPR points. Bucky Irving, 13 carries, 73 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 catches, 14 yards, 17 PPR points. Just like Gibbs and Montgomery.
Just say it, Chad.
Play him every week?
What just say? What are Bucky Irving and Rachaad White?
Oh. If Gibbs and Montgomery are Sonic and Knuckles, well, I guess that means that White and Bucky Irving are, what are they, Mario and Luigi? What other duo?
They're Gibbs and Montgomery light, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Gibbs and Monty Light.
That was Chad. I don't mean to steal that from him. He was saying that earlier.
You play them both every week, right?
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Like, we have to lean into this White thing.
Yeah.
It's there.
You got to. I mean, like, you look at his numbers over the past few weeks.
Yeah, White. Last 4 weeks for Rachaad White. These are PPR points. 29, 14, 11, and 18. Bucky. 16, 15, 6, and 17.
Hell yeah.
If I had to choose one rest of season, still on the Bucky side.
Me too.
Okay. His yards per carry is much better. That is a thing. Otten was kept in check this week, 8 PPR points. Listen, you can only expect the team to run through a tight end. Right. Like, this is not the Chiefs and Travis Kelce a few years ago. You can only expect this to go on so long. Pretty soon they get Evans back. Hopefully after this bye.
Healthy Evans or not, Fred Warner's a problem.
Sure.
It's a tough matchup, yes. even different circumstances.
He's elite. Yeah. Elite of the elite. Do you have anything else for this game?
I love you, Baker. No.
Yeah. Hey, hold your faith in the Bucs. Schedule's going to get good. Let's move on to the Broncos 14 at the Chiefs 16. What?
That's the worst way to end a game in the world.
The Broncos did everything that they were supposed to do. They controlled the ball. They put themselves.
Cortland Sutton should have been over there gripping that kicker up before they went out.
Right. They mauled. If you go back and watch that, the line for that kicking unit got just.
Oh, it was there was like 3 or 4 people could have blocked that kick.
That was ridiculous. And listen, the big talk is the Chiefs winning in such a crazy fashion. And while it's true, that was indeed a crazy finish. What's also simultaneously true is that Bo Nix is the real deal.
Well, he looked good.
22 of 30, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, 18 fantasy points, no picks against a solid Chiefs defense. The Chiefs are missing their number 2 corner, but still, there was no run game to speak of for Denver. Even Bo himself couldn't find running room. This was solid defense coupled with Bo handling his business.
Yeah, they forced him to pass, and he rose up to it.
Through the air. Cortland Sutton, 9 targets, 6 catches, 70 yards, 1 touchdown, 19 PPR points. 17, 24, and 19 PPR points in his last 3 games. We've essentially been chasing the Cortland Sutton volume. Here we are. Paying off?
Yeah.
I'm going to lean into this Nix and Sutton thing the rest of season. What say you?
Yep.
You have
Cortland
to, right?
Sutton's a good target, too, because unless you have him on your team and seeing those numbers week in and week out, he just doesn't have like the name value that some other guys. You might be able to get him a little bit less than some other players that you're targeting, and he could be just as good.
Yeah, he's a buy. I'm sure there's people out there that are not buying into what they're seeing in Denver. Maybe they're not a Bo Nix believer. At this point, I don't know how you can look at it that way, but different minds do exist. So
sure.
1 carry for Javonte.
What the hell?
2 for McLaughlin. Audric Estime, 14 carries, 53 yards. So passing it on to you, Tyler. What are we doing?
I have no idea. Like, did Javonte get nicked up or something? Like,
I don't see anything that flags that at all.
And I mean, good for Audric Estime, but he didn't really do a ton with the opportunity either. Now, granted, going against that Chiefs front is. No, I do not have a good answer for this. I didn't see it coming or anything. I thought Javonte was starting to get a little bit of a head of steam going, and
you can't trust. You can't.
None of them.
Can't.
None of them.
Mahomes was Mahomes, 16 fantasy points. You can find better elsewhere, as weird as it may seem. But
I don't know who needs to hear this, but remember this next year, because I guarantee you, I'm going to be in a handful of leagues with people who know a lot about football. Mahomes is still going to come off the board early.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I thought you were going back to the running backs on me for a second.
No, Mahomes is...
Mahomes,
the guy threw for 40... He threw 42 passes, 266 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And we praise this guy like he's a god. Meanwhile, Bo Nix, 22 of 30 for 215 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, again, this isn't a... Because you hear the chatter like, well, is Mahomes still... Yes. Fine. It's just like a whole team effort thing, man. Like this for what you're seeing out of Mahomes, this is the best Chiefs team that I've seen in the Mahomes era.
Yeah.
As far as across, and they don't have to do like.
His leading receivers were Kareem Hunt and Travis Kelce.
Yeah. But shootout Mahomes doesn't. It's not a thing.
It's gone. It left with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it left with that and the fact that they don't really get in shootouts now because you're not dropping 35 on the Chiefs.
No,
but
you're
not going to do it. So
it hasn't been the same since Tyreek Hill left, and I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah, unless they get that kind of caliber, that kind of style player in there.
Because if you go 5 years ago and Mahomes threw 42 times in a game, you're going to be some serious numbers put up there.
Sure, and it's because they had to, and they didn't have the running game, they didn't have the defense. So it was essentially week after week for Mahomes' first couple of years. Hey, go put the team on your shoulders, throw for 40 plus times, and we're going to need to score about 38 points to win. That's just not Chiefs football in 2024.
They needed the points this week, and they couldn't get them.
Well,
it was a tight game, but they would have taken a 21-7 lead.
Well, they should have. They should have.
Sure.
He missed Kelce. Bad throw to Worthy. He hits on those. You're not even talking about this being that close.
We'll come back to that. Kareem Hunt, good fantasy game, right?
Yeah.
16 points.
21 total touches. He's averaging around 23 touches every single week. As long as it's his backfield, you keep it rolling, yeah?
Yeah. Try to get Pacheco if you can.
Yeah. Disappointed in Hopkins?
Yeah, for sure.
4 catches, 5 targets, 56 yards.
For sure. I expected a lot more out of that in this game, especially with Denver's secondary being banged up a little bit there. I thought there'd be some openings there in that Raji Rice role, but
I expect better days to come, though. Let's remember, division game, and on top of it being a division game, the Broncos defense is for real.
Yeah.
So yeah, I expect better days for Hopkins.
Kelce looked really good.
Yeah, 3 straight weeks of 20 or more PPR points, 3 straight weeks of 12 or more targets. This is going to be huge, I think, for those who have Kelce down the home stretch. I don't expect this to stop. Something feels all of a sudden like really nostalgic about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feeling that too?
Yeah, a little bit.
What's your question?
Is Xavier Worthy not as good as we thought?
No, I think he's fine. That ball was not his fault. Last week, the deep ball was his fault. This one wasn't. This one was thrown out of bounds. And Mahomes, was
he getting open? The kid's getting
he was
2 or 3 targets a game. I know on that play he was, but
yeah.
Why is this kid walking away with stat lines with 1 catch for 11 yards on 2 targets? On a team that is starving for a wide receiver.
Well, when you're averaging around 23, touches to your running back a game, there's that. So they are running the ball a lot more because I think that goes hand in hand with exactly what we talked about. Like,
again, though,
the defense is keeping things in control. So on their side, it's just like, all right, let's keep it in control with Hunt. We'll just keep pounding the rock. And it's just different Chiefs football than what we're used to.
I get that, but Mahomes threw the ball 42 times.
Okay.
2 targets.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I really don't know, man. Because probably like 14 of them went to Kelce.
So just for people who had the same or more targets than Xavier Worthy.
Probably Justin Watson.
He had more.
Yeah.
Peyton Hendershot.
Yeah.
McCole Hardman.
Yeah. A part of this is
Justin Ross. What a
part of this is Andy Reid, man.
I get
it's very Shanahan McVay like you see shit like this where it's just they use a lot of people too. And Reed has always loved doing that, whether it's with the Eagles or the Chiefs, like these random dudes he just falls in love with that he just has to get involved. I don't know. It's very strange. It's a valid question.
I don't like
Worthy. I know. I wanted Worthy to be better than this. I don't know, man.
Like McVay, at the running back position. But not really. Even like lately, like with Kyron Williams, he's been running him really strong. And then like if his guys are healthy, it's Puka and Cooper.
That's true. Okay. But that's not Andy. Like he uses these random dudes, and it outside of like a guy, it can be very frustrating. Like I could see where this Hopkins thing could get annoying.
For sure.
Like it's like, all right, what are you doing with Watson? What are you doing? Like, stop it. Hendershot. Like I don't know. I don't have a good answer for the Worthy thing. And it could be a Worthy problem itself. Maybe he's struggling on. I mean, he's made some bonehead plays.
Like you have Hopkins on your bench no matter what, but I mean, like moving forward, it's Hunt and Kelsey are the only two that are really.
Yeah, and I think you can cut Worthy at this point.
Oh,
it's just not. Yeah. It's too.
Not a lot happening there.
It's too risky.
Yep,
way too risky. When it hits, but it's going to be few and far between.
How are you going to make that start?
Yeah. Do you have anything else for this one?
Nope.
Okay. Move on to the Bills 30 at the Colts 20. This game kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Flacco tosses 3 picks. One was a pick 6.
I mean, that was normal, but
yeah. You had a pick 6. Tyler Bass had 3 field goals. Kind of took away from the Bills' fantasy output, right?
Yeah.
But still, overall it was serviceable. The Bills' DST was obviously a great start. Josh Allen got you 18. James Cook salvaged his day with a touchdown, got you 15 PPR points. Kincaid got banged up.
Yeah.
He's day-to-day. Seems to be a knee issue. Khalil Shakir, 11 PPR points. Mac Hollins showed up again. Jerk. 13 PPR points on 4 targets. We're still fading that overall, right? Like you have to assume that's
I think, and then plus I think when Cooper gets healthy, it's more involved in the system. It's not going to be a thing.
No Coleman in this game, no Cooper in this game.
Right.
I think better days ahead for these guys fantasy wise.
Yeah, the only thing you're taking from that is what Khalil Shakir did. That's consistent.
Yep. In a bad game though, Flacco, he was able to give his guys some relevancy, fantasy wise. No Michael Pittman. So it was Downs, Pierce, and A.D. Mitchell. They all broke 10 PPR points. Alec Pierce with 19, Downs with 14, Mitchell with 13. 10 targets for Downs, 7 for Pierce, 6 for Mitchell. Game script, I would say, led to a lot of throwing for the Colts. I'm not buying anything outside of Downs. In redraft. I don't have any interest in A.D. Mitchell or Alec Pierce. You can't put any trust in Pierce or A.D. Mitchell.
No.
But Downs, now he's a weekly flex with wide receiver.
Yeah, he's getting the best matchups too. He's working that middle a lot more so than the other guys.
Yeah, to me, he's top 25 rest of season.
Yeah.
He's right around 20 right now, just to note that. He did drop a would-be wide open walk-in touchdown. So that was pretty uncharacteristic. That would have put him over 20 PPR points. Oh.
Dang it.
Yeah. 23 total touches for Jonathan Taylor, 122 total yards, 14 PPR points.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to take that. And I imagine better days are ahead. Just he lacked a touchdown. Everything else is right there. Yardage, volume, and opportunity.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have anything else for that one?
That's good enough.
I knew that was going to be a pretty quick one. All right, let's move on to the Steelers, 28. The Commanders, 27. Well, Ty Guy, how about them Steelers?
Did good.
Tell me what you think.
I think we should not do fake punts inside of our own 25-yard line. I know it was there. I get it, but let's not do that.
Your special teams coordinator seemed pretty upset while he hammered away on his gum.
Yeah. He's amazing, though.
Yeah.
Good game from Russell Wilson here.
Yeah, man. 14 to 28, 195 yards, 3 touchdowns, 20 fantasy points. So can I ask you a question about him?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Kyler and Baker are both on bye this upcoming week. How much streaming trust do you have in Russ next week home against Baltimore.
Oh, I think he's got to be one of the top streaming options for sure.
I think so too. I think we can lean right into that, right?
Yeah, Baltimore's pass defense doesn't. I'm not worried about that.
No, they're bottom of the barrel.
And I think this thing, I don't know about next week, but like Mike Williams is going to help.
Yeah, it was only one target, but
made the most of it.
He sure did. How about Pickens? He's a madman.
This
guy is a menace.
He's a straight menace. That's all there is to it.
5 catches on 7 targets, 91 yards, and a great high point touchdown catch. That was fantastic, man. High end wide receiver too.
Oh yeah. My favorite highlight was still like, and I'll be honest with you, looked like some lackluster effort when the ball got intercepted. That it's like he's watching the ball coming. It's like, well, jump out and stick your hand in front of the ball so it doesn't get intercepted, you freaking idiot. But no, he lets the guy intercept it, runs past him. I guess he did actually touch him, right?
Yeah.
Barely grazes the guy, and then takes like 2 steps and turns and jumps onto the other cornerback that doesn't have the ball. And you can like clearly see him like getting in his face down there. It's like, what are you even doing?
He was mad.
Like, am I wrong though? Like, because from the angle that I'm seeing that, it's like, okay, it might be, you maybe can't catch it, but you could have jumped out and hit the ball.
Maybe. Yeah. He was too focused on punish. He's like, someone's going to catch us and I want to punish him for it. I don't know. That guy, like I said, he's a menace, man. We talked about Mike Williams. Is it a stash and hope for some more involvement?
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's more like Pittsburgh needs to find a way to get him on the field as fast as possible, just because of right now they have nobody that can take the attention off of George Pickens, and Mike Williams can.
Right.
Like, I want to see that guy on the field as fast as possible.
I agree with that. He at least poses a certain threat to defenses if he's just on the field.
Right.
If he's on the red line.
If he's for crying out loud. Freiermuth got in the end zone. Thanks, Bird Person.
Russ said he did fine on the red line.
That's right. Freiermuth gets in the end zone, 10 PPR points, but I'm still going elsewhere personally. It's only the second time all year he's broke 10 PPR points. Tight end landscape has since opened up, I would say. Did you agree with that, Ty?
Yeah.
Not a lot of targets there.
Big thing takeaway from the Steelers offense is Najee Harris still got his touches. He got 21. Did not do a lot with them. 53 yards. He did get in the end zone. Jaylen Warren got 14 and had a 4.7 yards per carry average as opposed to Najee's 2.5.
He also had 2 catches.
Yep.
Warren did.
Yeah.
Cordell Patterson just kind of got in the way. 3 touches. How do we approach this backfield, Tyler? Is the best way to look at it Najee a higher end flex and Warren a lower end flex?
Yeah.
I think so too.
There's going to be weeks where Najee has a better week than Warren. There's going to be weeks where Warren has a better week than Najee, but it's just going to be. I mean, the Steelers kind of have like that same thing we were talking about earlier, like with the Lions and maybe the Panthers are going for. We don't know yet, but
you're not getting that same productivity fantasy wise out of this though. Like it almost seems like as long as Warren's playing, Najee just is in his way and Warren can't give you much fantasy production and Warren's in Najee's way and you struggle with the production.
Yeah, the offense, the Steelers offense just isn't as good as the Lions offense, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's a tough one. I would agree though. High end flex for Najee.
This week, Jalen got you
for Warren.
Jalen got you 10. Najee got you what? 11.
Jalen got you 8. I believe.
Oh, he had a fumble.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Steelers defense though kind of brought Jaden Daniels down to earth. 8 fantasy points. He's at Philly this Thursday. Short turnaround. Continue the confidence in Jaden Daniels?
Yeah.
I say yes. Brian Robinson was out. Eckler gave you RB2 numbers once again, 17 PPR points. This hamstring thing for Robinson seems like it could be an issue.
It's a linger.
It's a linger. They do nag and linger. If Robinson is out, Eckler.
Yep.
High-end flex more often than not.
Definitely high-end flex. RB2 fringe.
Is he that against the Eagles this week?
Yeah.
Do you think? Without Robinson?
Yep.
Yeah, I would have to agree that Eagles defense does seem like it's getting.
If Jaden Daniels
better.
was 100% himself either.
I don't know.
Like, he only ran the ball 3 times for 5 yards. Like, it was just kind of.
Yeah.
You expected him to.
He could certainly be a little beat up.
Sure.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Just wasn't the type of play that we're accustomed to seeing from him. Like,
it's just ribs, right? Was it his ribs?
I think so.
Yeah, the ribs can be. It's got to hurt to throw.
Right.
Running and having dudes dogpile on you. Like, that cannot feel good. So maybe that explains some of it. You might be onto something there. Since week 3, McLaurin has scored between 14 and 23 PPR points every single week. 16 this week, and he does not need touchdowns to do it.
Nope.
And he's also dealt with some solid corners across that span of games. McLaurin, I think, is a set it and forget it wide receiver too every week.
Yeah. I want to make note of, too, there was a play where Terry McLaurin made Joey Porter Jr. look foolish. Just stupid. Yeah.
He's been around. He's been around a lot longer. Yeah, I'm good for McLaurin, man. He's got to be loving this.
But all these guys, Jaden Daniels, Austin Eckler, Terry McLaurin, even Zach Ertz, I still have confidence in these guys. I think it was a weird. Jaden Daniels did not look like Jaden Daniels this week. And I give some credit to the Steelers defense, but.
Well, that's not good on a short turnaround, though.
No, but I don't know.
I'm telling you that we'll get into him here in a minute. And this is not my fandom. The Eagles defense has been significantly better since the bye week.
Yeah.
Vic Fangio's figured it out that Quinyon Mitchell he looks great.
Yeah.
So there is some concern, and it's a division game. But you gotta roll where the numbers and opportunity lie, right?
Yeah, I don't see many leagues where you could be in a situation where you're not going to start Jaden Daniels, Austin Eckler, or Terry McLaurin if they're on your team. You know what I mean?
12-man leagues, they're all starts.
Right.
All day, every day.
Yep.
Do you have anything else for this one?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to the Vikings 12, the Jaguars 7. Gross.
Both these teams should be ashamed of themselves.
Shall we make this quick?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Darnold was terrible.
Right?
Dude looked like he was seeing ghosts. He threw 3 picks, no touchdowns. Jefferson suffered because of it. 9 PPR points. Aaron Jones got a little dinged up, but he seems okay. 11 PPR points. Hawkinson did have a great game, though. That's the silver lining for those who stashed and waited. Me being one of them. 9 targets. Love that. Caught 8. 72 yards, 15 PPR points. Must start every week. Tight end. Agreed?
Yeah.
Better days ahead overall. But I do have to ask, do you have any concern with Darnold? Next 3 games, Tennessee, Chicago, then at home against what I think is a sneaky Arizona defense.
Yeah, I have a lot of concern with Sam Darnold.
So do you in turn also have concern for Jefferson?
No.
No, he's just going to get his. But as far as Sam Darnold goes and this role that he's been on, does it start to dial back the other way?
Yeah, I think 3 weeks from now we'll be like, oh yeah, it's Sam Darnold.
See, I wanted to say this weeks ago, but it's really hard when it was how it was
when he's tearing
to
it up.
be that guy. Like,
I put up 27 points.
It's going to come to an end eventually. Like, I didn't want to be that guy, but man, like, I feel like we actually got this not in a much smaller dose when he was in Carolina. Like week 1 and 2, you're like, oh man, look at Darnold go. And then you're like, oh, never mind. It's Sam Darnold.
Right.
This just seems like it lasted longer, way better coach and Kevin O'Connell, way better pieces around him. But when he's pressured, it's not good. And we have to remember too, they lost Darisaw.
I know, but
it's
bad when he's pressured. Like
it's really
like
bad.
Vinny Testaverde shit back there. Like it is not good, man. It's not good.
It really isn't.
Like he starts like patting the ball. You're like, what are you doing?
Right. That schedule though: Tennessee, Chicago, Arizona.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks that I'd feel great about that. I definitely don't feel super hot with Sam Darnold going into that schedule.
Agreed. Concerns for Aaron Jones are fine.
Yeah, you got to keep playing him. I guess my concern is there if he's banged up and Cam Akers is available, I'm going to get him.
Yeah, for sure. He came back.
Okay.
No questionable tag, no tag at all that I saw today. So that's good. Mac Jones, gross. ETN, gross. Brian Thomas Jr., gross. Even though he's fine as long as Lawrence plays. And Ingram got you 10. Better days ahead with Lawrence under center, right? For Ingram and Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
Except ETN.
Mac Jones is still terrible too. Like that's not. This has to be something that's not.
I don't expect better days for ETN. I think he is exactly what I thought he was. I just don't. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at most, you're looking at 10 points here.
How about Doug Peterson after the game? Basically said, like, well, I'd tell you, but you wouldn't understand. So
we understand things, Doug. We understand you guys suck.
Does Doug feel that seat just heating up and he's just
frustrated? For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you think they should stick with Doug?
Yep.
Next year?
Yep. One more year.
They have to stick with Lawrence. I mean, I think it would be a real disservice to Lawrence to not stick with Peterson. Like, how many times are you going to switch around on this dude?
And they're close. Like, it's not like when Lawrence is in there. I mean, like, how many games have they lost by just a couple points this year?
Yeah.
Man, I don't want to see Doug Peterson get fired. I still think he's a good coach in this league. I think
he has to get rid of Press Taylor, man.
Yeah, he sucks.
But stop with that. It's time to move off of him. Yeah, I hope this works out, man, because I really thought that the stuff on Trevor Lawrence was, coming out. I thought he was the real deal. Do you still feel that way?
Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah. I know he didn't play here as Mac Jones, but
no, I still feel good about Trevor Lawrence just because of the stuff that we've talked about in previous weeks and stuff, like all the drop passes that he's dealt with. And you feel like if he gets some competent receivers, and I think he has one of Brian Thomas, I'll chalk that up to a lot of rookie mistakes that Brian Thomas has made. But I mean, like, Christian Kirk is not the answer.
No.
Neither is Gabe Davis.
No. Like, they really in the offseason need to get a couple of solid receivers.
Yeah.
Something. You got Ingram.
You need another really, really good wide receiver to complement Brian Thomas.
And how about a running back that can do the job?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Tank get healthy and see what they have there.
I think Tank is fine in a complementary role. I think they need a real, they need a Pacheco, a Kyron Williams. They need a real solid running back, man. Like, and most quarterbacks do.
Right.
Most of them do, man. So, yeah, the jury's still out on that. I do hope they keep Doug Peterson around. He is very clearly frustrated. I hate it because I'm a Dougie P fan.
No doubt.
How can a Philly fan not be a
Brought
Dougie
the Birds
P fan?
their first Super Bowl,
Yeah,
man.
for sure. Do you have anything else for this one?
No.
Some of these are tough. That was a real tough one. Let's move on to the Falcons 17 at the Saints 20. What the hell happened? What?
This is one of them weird games. Like, team fires a coach, then they all kind of rally up a little bit. Like,
next note. I guess the coach firing first game with the interim head coach trend is real. Like, it clearly is, right?
I'd like to know what those numbers are.
So would I. Supposedly that's a real thing.
It seems it.
And then, like, what happens is, like, this week, if the trend continues, they should just fall right back down to earth again and be terrible, right?
Yeah.
Derek Carr slung it all over, 21 fantasy points, 25 PPR points for MVS, 15 for Kamara. Saints D was solid. And with all that said, we're fading everything but Kamara, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kamara got you 15 PPR points without a touchdown. That's a good sign.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm not buying into the Carr thing. There's no way in hell I'm buying into the Valdez-Scantling thing.
No.
Not a chance. Cousins. Disappointing. I really thought I thought the Falcons would kick the snot out of the Saints. I guess I shouldn't have ignored the coach firing trend with the whole interim thing. I just shouldn't have ignored it.
It's hard to wrap your head around that, though. Like, you're just looking, like what you've been given throughout the season, and I still think clearly the Falcons are the better of the team. I just don't know what happened.
Yeah. I don't know. Cousins, he threw the ball 38 times, 306 yards, no TDs, and a pick, but he did do enough for his pass catchers to give you something. Drake London, 12 targets, caught 8 for 97, 17 PPR points. Mooney, 10 targets, caught 5 for 96, 14 PPR points. Cousins can support 2 wide receivers on yardage alone.
Absolutely.
So you start these guys every week, as I'm sure you do with London, but in case some of you question it with Mooney, don't. He's an every week start.
For sure.
Pitts was fine, I guess. I think he had an almost touchdown, right? Did he fall short of the right?
Here's what I want to know. You watch this game?
As much as I could.
How far? Chad called Tyler Algier as his
Sneaky start.
Sneaky start last week.
So close.
They had 3 chances.
I know. Dude.
Like first, second, and third goal, they tried with Algier, and he couldn't get it. And then they brought in Bijan, and he punched it in. I was like, God, Chad's got to be so mad right now.
I was a little mad. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. Because
that would have given you 60 yards. That would have been a 12-point game.
Yeah. Well, that's about what I called.
I was thinking of you, and that was happening, though.
Pitts, 34 targets over 6 weeks, pushing 400 yards in that span. You just have to play him.
Yeah.
I mean, you play him and you hope for the best. I do have a feeling he's got a couple more boom weeks in him.
Me too.
And the schedule's favorable. Running backs, Bijan delivers 28 PPR points. He's been on a tear since week 6, averaging about 24 PPR points a week since then. Were we wrong on the sell high?
Maybe
a little too soon on that. Algier, for his part, had 11 touches, almost got that touchdown.
Man.
But my concern for the whole Algier thing is kind of starting to fade a little bit. Only because Bijan has been so unbelievably productive. Yeah. Like, I don't know that it really matters that much at this point.
Right.
I'm starting to kind of feel that now. For weeks, I was concerned, but it does feel like Bijan is just so good and so productive that 10 to 12 touches for Algier isn't really going to... If it feels like and sounds like when you look at numbers, like, and there was some games there where it did definitely affect them, but...
Falcons run the ball a lot.
They run the ball a lot. There's the schedule, again, is very favorable. I think my concern is just about totally faded.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we agree. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Let's move on to the 4 o'clock games. We'll start with the Titans 17, Chargers 27. Justin Herbert, 20 fantasy points. That's 3 straight weeks with 20 or more. Streamer trust in Justin Herbert. Yes or no? No. Okay. Only threw the ball 18 times, 164 yards and a touchdown, ran 9 times for 32 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, I'm kind of like, fair question. Justin Herbert, rest of season streamer versus Russell Wilson, rest of season streamer.
Give me Russ.
Give me Russ.
And I'll make my point of that. Russ has the harder schedule, and I still feel better about Russ than I do Justin Herbert.
Are the Chargers receivers too volatile to trust? Or was this just a matchup problem and you're going to continue to flex McConkey while considering Quentin Johnston from week to week, depending on matchups?
I'm going to continue to flex McConkey if I have to. I'm fading everyone else.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Down game overall for the Chargers run game. So Gus Edwards returned. 10 carries to Dobbins 15, 0 catches to Dobbins 3. Dobbins finished with 8 PPR points and Edwards finished with 5. Is this a problem for Dobbins?
Could be. One thing, Gus ran the ball better than JK did. Gus Edwards had 10 carries for 55 yards. JK had 15 carries for 50 yards. So you're talking a 5.5 average to a 3.3 average.
Yeah.
I'll say no, just because I think that J.K. Dobbins is far more talented than Gus Edwards is. But
yeah, this makes Nick's sell high call on J.K. Dobbins feel better to me, though.
Yeah,
on top of the schedule,
right
now. Yeah, I think with I had to think for a second. The volume, though, that's 18 total touches for Dobbins.
Right. To 10.
But he's still...
Titans defense is sneaky.
It is. And I feel like you really want to be around 20 touches for that lead back to avoid like real concern.
Right.
15 on the ground and 10 on the ground, 3 in the air for Dobbins. I don't know, man. I'm going to have to see this for another week, but we're running out of time as far as sell high and all that goes.
Yeah.
I do what you will. I'm sticking with Dobbins because I believe in that talent. I have to at this point. For those in Superflex, Levis got you 21 in his return. You'll take it if you even started him. Pollard was underwhelming, but Chargers run D is rock solid. Yes.
Yeah. the more concerning thing with Pollard is there was only actually Tajay Spears touched the ball only. So Tony Pollard had 13 touches. Tajay Spears had 10 touches. Like, not a lot of separation there between the two.
No.
Tajay Spears ran the ball more effectively at 6.7 yards per carry to a 4.9. Both were fine.
If we see this next week, I'm starting to get concerned about Pollard.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. How about Ridley? What is he to you rest of season? Because here he is again, 25 PPR points, 9 targets, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns, though one was in absolute garbage time. But points. Yep. What do we do with him? 8 targets at minimum since week 8. Do we chase the volume?
He's at least a high flex, right?
At minimum. That's how I was hoping you would say that. I mean, we preach volume, we preach opportunity. I mean,
you can't keep slapping you in the face too many times. Where you're like, well,
it sounds ugly.
Yeah.
Ridley and the Titans, Levis, Rudolph.
He's putting up points, though.
Yep. Volume. It's just the same deal. This might be like kind of the same deal as like Sutton.
I actually think Sutton's better at this point.
Yes, but volume is a volume.
Yeah.
Opportunity is opportunity. Like, we felt, when I say that, I mean back when we were considering, like, should we be chasing this volume?
Right.
Kind of same idea. Like, it might not feel pretty, but you chase it. Right? You got anything else for this?
Nope.
Okay. Move on to the Jets 6 at the Cardinals 31. Well, my take on the Jets skill players and how much I trusted them going forward is already in doubt. And boy, do I feel dumb. I feel like I took the bait. What do we do here, Tyler? I'm kind of at a loss of words, to be honest. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words.
This is terrible. Across the board, the Jets' offensive players were just bad. Aaron Rodgers, 151 passing. Like, what are you doing? Breece Hall has to get more involved. That is the one thing we said last week that needs to happen. Because really, he's the only bright spot on this offense, and he's just not getting enough opportunities because we think it's 2008 Aaron Rodgers the way we're calling plays, and it's not happening.
Right.
But Breece Hall ran the ball 10 times for 52 yards, 5.2 yards per carry average. He caught 4 catches for 31 yards.
That's not enough.
No. 14 touches for Breece Hall.
That's not enough. He needs to be way closer to 20.
He should be over 20.
Sure. But I mean, for the fact of like making sure your running back can make it through the season, there is no reason for him to have less than 20.
No.
Period. Every week. So I agree. That's not helping.
No.
Run the damn ball. Breece Hall's elite.
The passing thing they are doing, it's like the short, like slant game. It's just not, like, guys are running drags, and it's weird. I honestly, at this point, I agreed with Chad last week. I don't want nothing to do with that now.
Yeah, I don't.
I have Devontae Adams in a league where it's like, okay, I kind of got to ride this thing out because I'm not going to get a lot for him, but I don't know.
You and I will probably talk after the show.
All right.
Maybe. Kyler Murray looked like a top 5 fantasy quarterback. 29 fantasy points. He does this sometimes.
He got that little wind-up thing on his back. Somebody really gave that a couple extra turns and really set him down.
A few extra cranks before the game.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Top 10 rest of season. He is currently 7.
Yeah.
Give me yes as well. Again, the guys that get you there more than one way. I mean, that's what guys like Kyler do. Got a spike week from Marvin Harrison. You love to see that. 5 catches on 5 targets for 54 yards and a touchdown. 16 PPR points. Still just flex trust, though, Tyler? Yeah, you're going to need to see some consistency here before you can, same. Flex.
Confident in putting him in the flex, but beyond that, yeah.
Yep, I'm not ready to go any higher than that yet. James Conner kills it in the passing game. 12 rushes for 33 yards and a touchdown. 5 catches for 80 yards. 22 PPR points, 17 total touches. He's a king of the backfield.
Yeah, Benson's getting more involved, but it's still Conner, the guy
garbage
that you want.
Time.
Yeah.
I mean, Benson did have a couple early touches, but later in the game, they really kind of let
Benson had some nice runs, though.
Yeah.
But they were later. They weren't...
I think 10 touches, right?
10 carries, 2 receptions.
Okay. Listen.
I don't think he gets them numbers if this is a more back and forth game.
No. But you make sure he's on your bench if you have stock in Connor. I cannot say that enough.
Absolutely.
Only 4 catches on 5 targets for 71 yards, 11 PPR points. But boy, Trey McBride, he looks good doing it. You're starting him every week.
Yeah.
Again, 11 PPR points, but man, real life eye test.
He's good.
He's so good, man. Every week smash start. Do you have anything else here, Ty?
Nope.
All right. Couple more to go. Let's move on to the Eagles 34 at the Cowboys 6.
Birds had me worried there.
Well, that was about as bad as it could have been for Dallas.
Yeah.
What are we doing with the Cowboys players going forward, Tyler? We can make that part real quick.
I don't know. If you got Lamb,
you have to.
You got to start him.
Outside of that, you don't have to start Ferguson, right?
No.
You don't have to start Jalen Tolbert, and you certainly don't have to start Dowdle, Zeke, none of these guys. It's CD or nothing to me. Yeah. This is bad. And both quarterbacks looked horrible.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts continues his tear of getting it done in more ways than one. Where else can you find a quarterback who only throws it 20 times and gives you 31 fantasy points? 14 of 20, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 7 carries, 56 yards, 2 touchdowns, 23 fantasy points a week since week 6, 30 fantasy points or more in his last 3. This is why you draft Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
More ways than one. He's been great. Down game for Saquon.
Yeah, don't even let that.
Nope. 9 PPR points, but I expect he bounces right back.
This is just the way the game flow broke down. Saquon still looked good on a lot of these plays. Still averaging almost 5 yards per carry. Don't look too much into the 9 fantasy points.
Nope. He did bang his arm up, but he seems fine. He landed kind of funny, right?
Yeah, he did.
But he come back in. And
I think towards the end of that game where it's in control, they're kind of like,
give it to Kenny G.
You know, kind of. They had Shipley in there for a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I don't. So
Kenny G ran the ball quite a bit.
This Saquon thing, I have zero worry about this whatsoever. It's
same.
This is not. He's going to be fine.
Pass catchers, however, I do have some concern here. AJ Brown, 5 catches on 7 targets, 109 yards, 15 PPR points. Fine.
And no concern there.
Yeah, Devonta Smith, 2 catches on 3 targets for 14 yards, 3 PPR points. Goddard in his return, 2 catches on 3 targets, 25 yards and a touchdown, 10 PPR points. You'll take that out of Goddard, no doubt.
But this is something that you've been talking about for a couple weeks with Devonta Smith here.
So at the end of the day, Hurts only threw the ball 20 times. There's a lot of mouths to feed, right? In games with minimal passing like this, and all the pass catchers healthy, someone is going to have to take a back seat and have a down game. Sometimes 2 of them. This week, it was Devonta Smith. As I said this before, like you noted, Ty, Philly hasn't had all pass catchers healthy and on the field together since week 1. So, listen, to me, this is the kind of problem. It's kind of the same as far as the problem you deal with Detroit players. Minimal passing, lean heavy on the run, lots of mouths to feed. Someone's going to have a down week on a week-to-week basis sometimes.
It's not going to be A.J. Brown.
No.
So
it's Goddard or Smith from week to week. Yeah. Someone's having a down week. I expect it more often than not to be Goddard with the down week.
And I think this is exemplified. This is worse just because this game was so out of hand.
Johnny Wilson caught a touchdown.
Right.
So
it could be a thing.
Yeah. So I'll be curious to see how that goes after this week's matchup.
Yep.
Thursday night. All right, that's it for 4:00 games. Let's move on to Sunday night football. The Lions 26 at the Texans 23. Well, Houston let Detroit hang around just enough.
It did too.
Come back from a 16-point deficit for the win. Goff with 5 interceptions.
I know. Dan Campbell on the sideline, like, we can still reach our kneecaps.
Yeah, right. I love how he was like talking on the side. We need to get a turnover of our own, and then they got one while they were playing that interview. 5 picks for Goff, like we said, still won. Look for Laporta to maybe miss a week with a sprained AC joint. Doesn't sound real serious. It was good to see him involved. 3 catches on 6 targets, 66
I know, I was
yards
so
and a
excited.
touchdown.
Now it's like, oh, cool. I have Sam Laporta who's going to be hurt, and my backup tight end is Jake Ferguson. This is awesome.
17 PPR points for Laporta. He'll certainly take it. But, man, when you need Amon-Ra, he delivers, don't he?
Yeah. Clutch.
6 catches on 8 targets, 60 yards and a touchdown, 18 PPR points. Came through for you late. I wonder how many people won their week off that fourth quarter St. Brown touchdown catch.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good, yeah.
I just wonder. It boosted me over my opponent. Let's see what happens tonight yet, though.
I need crazy things from Jalen Waddle tonight, and I'm just so not excited about that.
I have Kyron and Cup tonight.
That's funner.
Yeah. I think I'm up by like 10, and he has like an IDP and receiver.
Things would have to go really awry.
Yeah, I should be okay. Yeah, I'm sure that helped a lot of people. That's about it for pass catchers. Jamison Williams did snag 9 PPR points on 5 targets for what it's worth. A little more involved than I had imagined coming off that suspension, but that's good to see. Down game for the Lions running backs, and we thought that was possible against the Houston run D, but you start these guys regardless. Gibbs with 13 PPR points, Montgomery with 12. It's essentially their floor. Full faith ahead.
Oh, that is their floor, in my opinion.
Yeah. You can probably go ahead and cut Stroud and redraft if you haven't already.
For sure.
Nico should be back this week, but even with all of his weapons, when Diggs was healthy, Nico, all these guys, Stroud has been very underwhelming. 10 fantasy points this week. I mean, even with these guys healthy, he was getting 12s and 14s and 16s. It's just not what I hoped for. Not what anyone hoped for.
I was very high on him coming in, but it's been down.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to hear it?
Sure.
Cowboys, Titans, Jaguars, Dolphins, Chiefs, Ravens. That's your remaining CJ Stroud schedule.
Dolphins, Chiefs, Ravens. Yeah.
Not good.
So that played into why I thought Joe Mixon was a sell high.
Right.
That, boy, 15 and 16 against is it Chiefs and Ravens?
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. That's the semifinals and the finals.
Right.
Scary stuff. Tank Dell was underwhelming. 8 PPR points. Though he did have 9 targets. We only caught 5 for 39 yards. John Mechie turned 6 targets into 5 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown, 18 PPR points. Tyler, is Mechie an ad?
Yeah.
Not considering fading this with Nico set to return.
I don't know. I just think Mechie could be a thing.
It feels
like, remember a couple years ago, everybody's, how great Mechie was going to be and all that stuff. And then he had them 2 back-to-back years with injuries, and I don't know.
He had cancer.
Yeah, but then he had a knee injury too, right? A bad knee injury.
I think that was that first or second? Either way, yes. 2 terrible things.
Right.
Yeah,
he looks good.
He's a speculative ad. If you've got trash on your bench, I mean, I don't see why not.
Right.
I mean, if you've been carrying like Alec Pierce or something, I would drop Alec Pierce for John Mechie.
Really?
Yeah. You wouldn't drop Alec Pierce for John Mechie?
Man, Flacco likes to give him a couple deep passes. That's a tough one. That's
like 3 straight weeks of like 4s and 2s.
Yeah. Probably.
I'll take Mechie.
I'd have to look at it more in depth.
Okay. Dalton Schultz finished with 9 PPR points for what it's worth. I mean, sure. Hit it on the head with Joe Mixon this week. Called a bit of a down week in comparison to what he's been giving you. 16 PPR points was our call. 16 is what he gave you.
Yeah.
But if that's a down week, then who cares, right? And again, I'll touch on this. I do still think he's a sell high. That schedule is KC and Baltimore in week 15 and 16, man.
Right. Not fun.
Yeah. Again, that's the semifinals and the finals. I would try to find someone of his caliber with a lighter schedule.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Agreed.
You would do?
Yep.
All right. Well, Ty, that's it. Unless you have anything else. It's kind of a lackluster.
Yeah, it was just a bad matchup week. But I mean, it's still fantasy football. We still love it. Eat it up, right?
Oh, yeah. I'd still watch every snap of every game as often as I can.
Yeah.
In my living room every Sunday, like, well, this wasn't a great week, but these chips are really good.
Yeah.
I ate so much hell of a good dip this weekend.
I can put a hurting on that stuff.
It was like the large tub too, like the economy tub. Yeah, it's almost gone. It's almost gone.
I've done it. I've done it in a day.
Yeah, whole bag of chips gone. I'm so gross. Just sitting there consuming
that stuff is so
more
good,
football, more chips.
Yeah.
More football, more chips. That's my final thoughts. What do you got, Bird Person? Anything?
On behalf of all the Ja'Marr Chase owners, I want to say thank you so much, Ja'Marr Chase. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, that's it for today's show. Again, as always, thank you all so much for tuning in and giving us your support. Remember, our PPR Superflex Dynasty rankings are now available in the description. Just click the corresponding link. They are available as well on our Twitter. Also, check the description for instructions on how to get your trades graded. Join us next time for our Week 11 Thursday Night Football and Sunday 1 o'clock game slate preview. Remember, like, follow, and subscribe to our Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. It's the only way that we survive. See you next time, everybody.
Thank you.